In my childhood, there was a lot of anti-werewolf propaganda, and I participated in that anti-werewolf propaganda myself. That's why it was so surprising when I turned out to be one. It first emerged when I was 15 and a half. I guess you could say I was a late bloomer. School was out for summer vacation, and I just turned into an 8-foot-tall werewolf. I feared a demon had infiltrated a vulnerability in my genetic code, but I also thought it was a phase that I could easily pass through. I turned into a werewolf under every full moon, and my transformations became more and more intense over time. I still figured I could have a normal life with a normal wife and conceal my condition from her. I discovered a werewolf community on the internet and joined it, and I used a fake name and blurry photos of myself to conceal my identity. I was always so paranoid that it could be traced back to me, that someone could see a yellow wolf's eye in my own eye, or that they could hear a wolf's growl in my own voice. But nobody ever directly accused me of werewolfism. After 3.5 years of privately enduring my condition, I fully acted out my instincts. I turned into a werewolf and went on the prowl and jumped on a man's back and fully devoured him. After that incident, I felt so disgusted with myself, and I vowed to myself that I would never do anything like that again. But at 19, it's difficult to resist your own impulses, and I fell into the pattern again. Between the ages of 21 and a half and 23 and a half, I must have destroyed about 30 men, not to brag. I felt powerful for the first time in my life. I liked the look of fear in a man's eyes as I ripped through his throat. I especially preferred divorced dads. They were lonely, living in apartments by themselves, trying to meet child support payments, and longing for death, and I provided it to them. Today I can't remember the names or the faces of all the men I destroyed. But it was kind of fun. I got to run off to far-off cities an hour away and partake in experiences that I would have never otherwise enjoyed. Sometimes my mother wondered where I had gone, and I invented stories of being with 3 friends. By age 23 and a half, I was truly disgusted with all the things I had done, and I went cold turkey. I chose to deny it to myself and to pursue something even greater, which is transcendence. I knew that Christ understood me and could help me overcome my demons and transform from a broken werewolf into a saint. I was never totally happy denying my werewolf instincts to myself, but the universe never promised me nor anybody else happiness. It's lonely to be a werewolf. That's just 1 to 2% of the population, but it's even more lonely to be a werewolf in denial, to be a party of one. A few years later, werewolfism became more accepted by the peoples of this land. But I didn't expect anybody would accept me because I didn't accept myself. It was sometimes difficult to see photos of werewolves dancing happily under the full moon because I feared I was missing out. But I knew the truth behind that was that they lived quite squalid, depressing lives. Acceptance progressed, and I observed the werewolves mistreating and abusing children, and I vowed to put an end to it. I vowed to round them all up and execute them all. That is the mission I still have to this day. May God have mercy on their souls, because I will not.